Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So today we will be taking a look at this very unique Oracle cards, or Archetype Cards by Caroline Myss. So this is a Hay House deck. These are the sides and the backs. So it's a two-piece box with cutouts, and this is the guidebook. So this deck is actually quite unique. It invites you, or it's really more of, I think, a study deck than an actual oracle. At least that's how I see it. So it tells you about the archetypes, and it tells you that there's actually around 12 archetypes per individual, but there are 4 archetypes that are present in each one. So you have the child, so each person would have a child archetype, or would relate to a child archetype. You have the victim and the saboteur, as well as the prostitute. So aside from that, you will choose from the deck other archetypes that would speak to you. And this is just a partial listing of the archetypes available in the deck. So I think it's really more of examining yourself, or understanding which archetypes relate to you, and also how you would use it. I guess you can also use it as like a significator for your readings. It can represent a person. Yeah, so this would just be a flip through of all of the cards. I have used it a bit, so they won't be in order. Just wanted you to note as well that there are, I think, 6 blank cards that you can create or write your own archetypes on. And each archetype would have the light attribute and a shadow attribute. Okay, so the cardstock is a bit glossy. It's well, I think it's a typical Hay House deck, or Hay House cardstock. It's not too bad. In comparison to a tarot, hold on, let me get the tarot card. So in comparison to a tarot card, this deck is wider and taller. So this is from the Wandering Moon. Okay, so it is significantly wider and a little bit taller. Okay, so let me just set up for the flip through and we'll take a look at the cards one by one. Alright, so I'm trying to find an angle where that my light won't reflect on the cards because it is a bit glossy. And again, this isn't in the original order. And as always, feel free to slow down, speed up, or pause if you want to take a closer look at the cards. Oops. So I think there would be some cards here that, when you read the light and the shadow attributes, it automatically relate to it, or it would resonate with you. And sometimes I use it like when I'm trying to ask the universe about a particular person, like what archetype would represent this person. But of course, how you use your cards are entirely up to you. And then later on, we will be shuffling and seeing how the guidebook reads. So I believe this is an 80 card deck. So it's like 70, let me double check. So it says here it has 74 archetype cards, and yeah, you have the 6 blank cards, so that would make it 80. The art style is actually quite unique. And I think, you know, if you really put time into studying this, it would give you a lot of insight about yourself, about others. I think it's more of a like a study intensive deck. I mean, most decks are, you tend to have to, especially for oracle decks, because they usually have their own systems, but specifically for this one, I think, you know, it would benefit you if you really spent the time to get to know the deck, the cards, the archetypes, the 74 archetypes that are described here. So you'll notice that the child is repeated. So there are different kinds of child archetypes. And each person would have a child archetype. And it's quite interesting, you know, like this vampire archetype. You know, it's not something you would hear of often, but it is relatable. Okay, just a few more cards. And the prostitute. Okay, so I shuffled a bit so that I can show you how this shuffles, but since this is a thick deck, you know, 74 cards and taller than a tarot deck, I have small hands, so I have difficulty shuffling that pile. So what I usually do is I divide it into 2 piles, and then I would shuffle the other pile, and then I would combine half and half, half and half again. So like this, shuffle these 2. So it does take a bit more time, but you know, just to ensure that I have a good shuffle. But since this is already out of order, I think it's fine to just show you how it shuffles overhand. Now, we will be reading for this one, but I just wanted to note that because of the gloss, sometimes it does clump, yeah, and it sticks when you do overhand. Okay. Oh, oops. I have to move it away from the light. Okay, so we will be reading for the addict. So let me just get the guidebook and we'll read what it means. Oh, but of course you already have the light and the shadow attributes of the addict, but there is more information in the guidebook. Okay, so this is what's written in the guidebook. I'll be reading it, but if you also just want to skip that and you can just pause and read this on your own. But what it says here, that addict is a conspicuous consumer, a glutton, or a workaholic, and it also refers you to look at the archetype gambler. So it says here that it's not limited to drugs, alcohol, food, and sex, and it helps you recognize when any external force has more authority over your willpower than your inner spirit does. It also notes that its perseverance in breaking its hold empowers your psyche, and the shadow addict represents the absence of self-control and internal balance, and compromises your integrity and honesty. So look for a lifelong pattern of trying to overcome the tendency to need a substance or person so intensely that you compromise relationships, finances, integrity, character, or emotional and psychological well-being. So that's what it says for the addict. Again, this is the Archetype Cards by Caroline Myss. Something that might not be part of my regular tarot practice or card pulls. It's not something I use regularly, but it is a good study, and I am drawn to the art in this deck, and there is a lot to absorb and to learn. So yeah, I really like this vampire card. So if you like this video, please consider liking or subscribing to my channel, and I will see you again next time. Bye!